Hey, it's me, Raika. Today we're going to have a look at the brand new dimensional hero, Joan of Arc, Dawn Protector. Now, this is the brand new dimensional hero that wears strength-based gear, is part of the support class, and her primary role is to buff your allies, interrupt their enemy, and provide a significant amount of defensive abilities for your team. So let's have a look at her abilities. Her ultimate skill, Stand Firm. It is a passive skill. Joan of Arc's standard protects her, reducing her damage taken by 30%, and grants her immunity from knockbacks. The reduced damage is converted into Joan of Arc's protection value, up to 100% of her max health. When actively used, Joan of Arc repels most debuffs from all allied heroes and restores their health to 100% of her current protection value. The health healed is no less than 250% of her attack rating. When Joan of Arc casts her ultimate, allied heroes except herself gain 12% attack rating for 8 seconds. This effect cannot stack. Protection value will be cleared each time Joan of Arc casts her ultimate skill. The level 2 upgrade. When Joan of Arc casts her ultimate, she recovers 5% of her max health per second for 8 seconds. When Joan of Arc casts her ultimate, allied heroes except herself gain 20% attack rating for 8 seconds. So, from this, each time she casts this, she'll be able to significantly tank the enemy's damage and be able to provide a significant amount of buff in the forms of attack rating and defensive protection. Her next skill, Waving Standard. It is another passive. Joan of Arc waves her standard to instruct Phantasm Standard to charge with her. Now, this standard is this little pole that she's holding, and the Phantasm Standard is two little banners that appear on either side of the battlefield. So she begins to charge with her standard when she enters the battlefield, dealing damage equal to 100% of her attack rating to enemies close to her. If there are enemies blocking her path during her charge, she deals damage equal to 200% of her attack rating twice to the enemies within a certain range in front of her and knocks them into the air. Whenever Joan of Arc launches an attack, except for her ultimate, this restores health equal to 70% of her attack rating for herself and all allied heroes behind the Phantasm Standard. Now, this is every single allied hero that is behind essentially Joan of Arc, as she'll be mostly fighting in the enemy's half. When Joan of Arc carries a standard to the enemy's backline, the Phantom Standard will stay in the enemy's backline permanently. Even when Joan of Arc dies, the standard will still be available and provide all of these buffs stated here. Joan of Arc charges deals damage equal to 110% of her attack rating to enemies close to her. Healing amount is increased to 80% of Joan of Arc's attack rating, and the level 4 healing amount is increased to 100% of Joan of Arc's attack rating. Her next skill, Standard Shield. Joan of Arc swings her standard, providing a shield that has a value of 180% of her attack rating to herself and all allied heroes behind the Phantasm Standard for 5 seconds. She deals damage equal to 220% of her attack rating to enemies within a certain range in front 3 times. Joan of Arc deals damage equal to 240% of her attack rating to enemies within a certain range in front 3 times. And the level 3 increase the shield value to 200% of Joan of Arc's attack rating. And then the 30 engravings. Whenever an allied heroes behind the Phantasm Standard receive healing from Joan of Arc, their attack rating and defense rating is increased by 10% for 8 seconds. This effect stacks up to 30% of Joan's corresponding stat. The next ability, Standard Barrier. It is again another passive. All enemies in the area behind the Phantom Standard take damage equal to 140% of Joan of Arc's attack rating once every 3 seconds. Whenever an enemy takes damage from this skill 3 times, the next hit from this additionally stuns the enemy for 1.5 seconds and increases the damage by 20% of a protection value up to 200% of her attack rating. The stun duration is increased to 2.5 seconds. The level 3, all enemies in the area behind the Phantom Standard take damage equal to 180% of Joan of Arc's attack rating once every 3 seconds. And the level 4, whenever an enemy takes damage from the skill 2 times, the stun is triggered and the damage is increased. So let's have a look at her signature item. So the unlock standard protection after Joan of Arc places the Phantom Standard in the enemy's back line. Allied heroes take 6% less damage. The reduced damage will be converted into Joan of Arc's protection value. So this is again providing a shield and more defenses for your allies. So even if Joan dies during the battle, she will still be able to provide the damage reduction to her allies. The level 10, after Joan of Arc places the Phantom Standard in the enemy's back line. Allied heroes take 12% less damage. The reduced damage will be converted into Joan of Arc's protection value. The level 20, for the first 3 seconds of a battle, Joan of Arc is immune to all damage and converts them into protection value instead. So this is her shield. And level 30, after Joan of Arc places the Phantom Standard in the enemy's backline, allied heroes take 16% less damage. The reduced damage will be converted into Joan of Arc's protection. So let's have a look at her furniture. So her furniture 3 out of 3. When Joan of Arc reaches the enemy's backline, she is able to cast her ultimate without using energy. And the level 9 out of 9, when Joan of Arc casts her ultimate, the protection value will no longer be cleared but reduced to 50% of its original value. So this is the shield that she generates each time she mitigates value from that 30% damage reduction that she gains over here. Damage reduced by 30%. So let's have a look at how she does in battle. Now, as she is a support and she invades the enemy backline, she will do extremely well in invade-like teams. So as we can see, there's the Phantom Standard, and once it reaches the edge, it becomes a permanent battle standard. So as we can see, she constantly knocks enemies back, interrupting them, and from time to time, she'll stun them for a couple of seconds. So as you can see, there's the little shield that she provides for her allies, the little protection value that goes around her allies and herself. So let's have a look at her ultimate. She swings her standard and she provides more shields for herself and for her allies. And she's constantly healing herself and her teammates as well. Alright, so let's have a look at enemies in battle and how she responds. So we're going to put her in an invade-like team. So we're going to put Joan of Arc and Scrag. So both of these two heroes will run forward into the enemy's front lines. Now the Rosaline will follow Joan of Arc, and Leonardo da Vinci will provide a bit of control for the team. So let's have a look at how this team does. So as we can see, she immediately charges the enemies, and she keeps on charging until she gets the battle standard into the enemy's half of the battlefield. Now she does extremely well, especially with heroes like Scrag, who can provide a significant amount of energy and damage reduction. There we go, a victory. And as we can see, she did a significant amount of healing compared to Rosaline, and she also provided a significant amount of distraction for the enemies when she was entering battle. So let's have a look at a much higher deficit and how she does. So as I mentioned before, she will do extremely well in invade-like teams. So these will be anything like Lucretia, invade team, or something along the lines of Mehera Charm, where Mehera will essentially charm the heroes and she'll be able to essentially distract the enemies long enough so that Mehera can gain a new charm effect on the enemies. So let's have a look at how she does in this team. So once again, she's placed in the front row. There, she summons the battle standard and immediately charges into the enemy lines. She also gains a bit of immunity for the first 3 seconds, and now she's easily able to cast her ultimate skill. So now, as we can see, she's distracting 3 heroes, being Silas, Thorin, and Lucius at the same time. So this essentially gives Mihira enough time to essentially not be attacked so that she can gain energy, and so she can also use her ultimate skill. In addition, she also heals, which is a major benefit. However, her healing is not that particularly strong. However, when you pair Joan of Arc with another healer, this can synergize extremely well, as Joan of Arc provides a bit of healing and a lot of damage reduction and shields. So let's speed up this battle and see how this battle ends. Now, as you can see, she's constantly distracting Thorin, and Thorin has not been able a single time to move forward in battle. There we go, a victory. So let's have a look at another team and let's see how she does. So this is another invade-like team where we have Tresnor and Awakened Brutus both invading the enemies. So another thing is she might do extremely well with heroes like Kren, where she'll essentially knock the enemies back into Kren's bombs, and then the other heroes such as Raku, Awakened Brutus, or Tresnor can easily take control of the battlefield and claim victory for you. So what type of investment would I recommend getting her? So I would highly recommend getting that 3-second immunity at the start of battle, as this will essentially provide her enough time to get extremely far into the enemy's side of the battlefield, and getting her that 20 signature item, as this will allow her to essentially provide a significant amount of damage reduction. As we can see, 12%, a damage reduction for your entire team, as long as the battle standard is on the battlefield. And the 3 furniture, as you can see, this allows her to use her ultimate without needing any energy.